Handa umano si MMDA General Manager at dating PNP Chief Nicolas Torre III na tumulong sa paghuli kay Senator Bato de la Rosa kung iuutos ito ni President Bongbong Marcos. Sa panayam kay MMDA General Manager Nicolas Torre III, sinagot nito kung kakasabas siya kung sakaling kakailanganin ang tulong niya sa pag-aresto kay Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa na ngayon itinuturing ng pugante ng DOJ. Matatandaang si Torre ay kabilang sa operasyong humantong sa pagkakaaresto ni na dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte at Apollo Kibuloy.
Kayo po, alam po namin na maganda po ang trabaho ninyo ngayon sa MMDA, pero may clamor po kasi sa social media na kunin kayo ang inyong serbisyo para tulungan daw po ang ating authorities na maaresto po si Senator Bato de la Rosa. Your thoughts po about this, sir?
Part pa rin naman ako ng gobyerno eh. Kaya sa manhunt, in terms of manhunt, pwede talaga kami sumali. Binabantayan namin, malay mo, nagtago sa landfill, nagtago sa estero, nagtago dyan sa kalsada. Ayan, pwede nyo kami maasahan dyan. O, di ba? Pero sa ibang mga areas, na may iba namang mga office of primary responsibility, eh, sila naman trabaho kasi whole of government approach ka eh.
Yeah, General, just to follow up, para tumbukin natin.
Go, go, go!
Para tumbukin natin.
Go, Senator!
If you're given a special assignment by the President, you know, to help in the manhunt, do you have a choice to accept or do you have a choice to?
Pag Presidente ng utusan, automatic, no choice, di ba? Pero ito nga ang bottom line dyan. Ang pagtingin ko dyan sa mga bagay na yan, kasi institutional yan eh. It's not about a person. It's not about me. It's not about Senator Bato. It is about a process. It is about a system. It is about a law. And it is about a job. Na, desisyonan mo na lang, personally, kung ikaw inutusan, whether you do it or not. Kasi, maliwanag naman. Ito na, naglabasa na ang mga desisyon ng mga abogado na talagang overwhelmingly, at saka yung mga otoridad na mismo ang nagsasabi, legal ang warrant, pwede nyo i-implement yan, at yan ay sa tingin ko, we have to respect the process, let the systems work, because police sa law enforcement, hindi po pwedeng mamili ka kung alin ang i-implement mo, alin ang hindi, because at the end of the day, the job of the police is not to judge the case, but to implement the processes, and in this case, the warrant. So they have to do it, protect the process, let it roll in its natural course, and most especially, protect the institution, because ultimately, it is in the thing that we protect here, at ang foremost consideration na dapat nating maproteksyonan ay ang interes ng bansa.
Isa na lang po, kahapon po kasi nabanggit ni Justice Secretary Frederick Vida na nag-request po yung DOJ Special Panel of Prosecutors ng CCTV footages doon po sa vicinity ng Senate para daw po sa investigasyon doon sa apparently na pagtakas ni Senator Bato de la Rosa. Nakapag-usap na po ba ang DOJ at ang MMDA at naibigay na rin po ba ng MMDA yung requested CCTV footages?
I think there's a letter na lumabas nga sa internet na supposedly i-deliver ngayon sa MMDA. Whatever the investigating authorities needs and whatever the other agencies of the government needs, the MMDA is ready to cooperate, and we will give them all the information that is in our database.
Thank you so much po. Thank you po.
Inihayag ng National Bureau of Investigation or NBI na aarestuhin nila si Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa kasunod ng go signal mula sa Department of Justice or DOJ tungkol sa arrest warrant ng International Criminal Court o ICC laban sa senador. Matatanda ang kinumpirma ni DOJ spokesperson Attorney Polo Martinez na may hiling na ang ahensya para sa red notice sa Interpol laban kay de la Rosa na may ituturing ng isang fugitive ayon mismo kay DOJ Secretary Frederick Vida.
First, on the matter of Senator Bato de la Rosa, first, we confirm that there is existing valid arrest warrant from the ICC. He is charged as a co-perpetrator in the crime against humanity. Second, we also likewise confirm also the fact that based on evidence, pieces of evidence, we relayed information in the past few days Senator Bato is not in the Senate premises. Third, yesterday, the Supreme Court did not issue a temporary restraining order. Neither was a status quo ante order was issued.
Okay.
But the main case is still pending with the Supreme Court. Fourth, the arrest warrant is enforceable. Based on all these four basic premises, I would like to confirm, one, the Philippine law enforcement agencies, which would include the PNP, the National Bureau of Investigation, are now tasked to effect the arrest of Senator Bato de la Rosa. Senator Bato is fugitive from justice,
Parol na lang po, light feed po.
and he should be brought to the ICC to face the charges before him.
Tiniyak naman ng Philippine National Police or PNP na sila ay tatalima sa direktibang ibinaba ng DOJ hinggil sa ICC arrest warrant laban kay De La Rosa. Samantala sa isang pahayag ni NBI Director Melvin Matibag, sinabi niyang aarestuhin nila si De La Rosa nang walang delay. The order is to arrest Senator De La Rosa, so will do so without delay. Saad ni Matibag, fugitive Senator De La Rosa will be arrested whether he likes it or not because we have to implement the law without fear or favor. Binanggit din ni Matibag ang tungkol sa desisyon ng Korte Suprema na nagbabasura sa inihaing petisyong Temporary Restraining Order or TRO ng kampo ng senador na naglalayong hindi pahintulutan ang pag-aresto sa kanya ng ICC. Samantala, nanindigan si retired Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio na hindi na kailangan ng lokal na korte para ipatupad ang warrant of arrest ni Senator Bato de la Rosa na inilabas ng International Criminal Court o ICC. Any country can assume jurisdiction because this is a crime against the entire humanity. Dagdag ni Carpio.
Well, ayaw lang ng Senado is surrender siya, no? Pinigilan nila. So, that is actually obstruction of justice. Under the law, if you prevent the law enforcer from serving a warrant of arrest or summons, that is obstruction of justice. Well, they're not following the law. That's why the remedy is to file obstruction of justice.
Who's gonna file, sir?
Yeah, NBI should file obstruction of justice.
Nasa labas po ba o nasa loob ba ng bansa?
Well, if we look at the records of Bureau of Immigration, siyempre nakipag-coordinate tayo with the Bureau of Immigration and yung mga point of entries na identify natin is being monitored, eh, sasabihin natin wala naman pong record ng paglabas. But of course, I know that the next question, there are personalities na nakalabas ng bansa natin na hindi lumalabas yung records nila sa immigration. So, alam naman natin po yung parang yung ating geographical contour natin. Talagang there are lots of point of entries and exits sometimes that we cannot monitor. But we are getting leads every day na ang sinasabi is nandirito pa rin po siya sa Pilipinas. No? So, we have dedicated a team, actually teams to track Senator Bato. Kung saan po siya, actually, ang ginawa namin, backtrack namin from the time that he disappeared sa Senado noong early morning of May 14. At the same time, we already ordered yung lahat ng district and regional offices to do their own monitoring po sa kanilang respective areas. Apart from the dedicated team, a tracking team to go after, to locate Senator Bato de la Rosa.
Ang tawag niya po doon ay team na naghahanap o dragnet?
Well, you can call it whatever it is, but it's a team that will try to locate and effect the arrest of Senator Bato de la Rosa.
Apo, si Senator De La Rosa ay galing sa law enforcement agency. Sa tingin niyo ba factor kung bakit siya parang palos, madulas, yung kanyang kaalaman at ang kanyang network ay nagagamit niya?
Well, it's one of the major concern kasi nga galing siya sa law enforcement, so he knows how the law enforcement officers behave, kung paano siya itatrack or hahanapin. So, ang sa akin lang naman dito, eventually, the law will catch up with you and the law enforcers will get you kung saan ka man naroroon. That's why I'm always appealing, if I have an opportunity, to Senator Bato to surrender kung saan na siyang sumuko at harapin niya yung kanyang hinaharap na kaso sa ICC. Pero by the looks of it, baka wala siyang balak sumuko dahil nandiyan na nga siya sa Senado, bigla pang nawala. Sabi ko nga, huli na, naging bato pa.
Director, do you consider the senator armed and dangerous? And if so, how do you plan to arrest him?
Ano naman po? It's our standard protocol. If you're doing search or locating a fugitive from justice, ang presumption namin lagi is armado yan at delikado yung magiging approach. So, ang instruction po natin sa ating mga law enforcement, sa ating mga NBI agents, is to proceed with caution every time na limbawa nag-positive na or even doon sa area na suspected na talagang nandoon siya, is kailangan maging maingat po sa paghuli dahil that's always the presumption. Especially Senator Bato, who used to be chief of police natin, a major law enforcement natin dito sa Pilipinas. At the same time, what happened doon tayo sa Senado, it shows yung factor na yan na maaaring talagang armado po yung tao na ito.
Is the government molding the idea of putting a bounty on his head at this stage?
It's not my call po. It's because when it comes to its arrest, it's the Department of Justice po talaga ang magbabagay ng instruction dyan. As of now, the instruction to us is to locate and effect the arrest of Senator Bato de la Rosa.
Would you know of any groups or personalities helping the senator at this point to continue to hide from the long arm of the law?
Well, it's always considered din po every time that we are looking after for a fugitive dahil hindi naman po makakakilos siya ng siya lang na walang tumutulong. And in fact, there are personalities na supposed to shed light at sumagot po doon sa mga katanungan kung nasaan na si Bato. Ano po?
Parang it's clear na tumulong si Senator Robin Padilla na makalabas siya sa Senate premises. At
Well,
pwede bang i-charge siya ng aiding and abetting escape of a fugitive from justice?
Well, hindi naman na po contestable yan. It is Senator Padilla himself po confirmed na sa kanya sumakay, nakisakay sa kanya at ibinaba niya sa isang lugar kung saan na kinuha. So, I think without even the law enforcement asking Senator Padilla kung asan, I think he's a responsible senator, responsible citizen na alam na niya na ngayon na dapat balagot sa batas. Siya na mismo ang voluntary to shed light sa pangyayari na ito. Ano po? Although the question of kanyang responsibility or anything that this should be answerable under the law is being studied and built up by the Department of Justice in coordination with other agencies involved po.
Ang claim niya ay bumaba sa Makati si Bato, tapos hindi niya na alam kung nasaan.
Well, even if there are some questions that he should answer, hindi lang yung sumakay sa kanya at saka bumaba. I think, again, I'll go back to what I said, that he is a responsible citizen, senador siya. At you have to remember, sinabi nila that Senator Bato was under their protective custody. So, you know yung isang dapat na sagutin ng Senado, na you took it upon yourself nung May 11, nung kami po yung unang pumunta ron para i-effect yung arrest, na usapang lalaki po yun with the Senate President and with the other senators na they are saying he is under the protective custody of the Senate. So ano ibig sabihin po nun? If you took it upon yourself na protective custody mo, ibig sabihin nun na pagka hindi nyo siya pwedeng kuhain sa amin, kami nang bahala, pero pag kailangan niya ng managot sa batas at kailangan siyang ipresenta sa anumang ahensya o korte, we will make him available. At yan po yung eksaktong sinabi nung ako'y nakikipag-usap sa kanila nung Lunes, na pagka meron na talaga, pag may order at talaga namang dapat na siyang isuko, hindi naman tatakas yan, hindi susuko. So, that is protective custody. I will make an example for our public to easily understand. Pumasok ka halimbawa ng isang department store, pinaiwan mo yung bag mo, Sa anong ibig sabihin nun? Ipinagtiwala mo sa kanya yung bag mo na yon, binigyan ka ng numero, sila yung may kustodiya ron. Pag nawala yan, may nangyari dyan sa gamit na yan, at kukunin mo na yon, at hindi mo mabalik, sino pa mananagot? Yung may hawak ng gamit na yon. Dahil you took it upon yourself that you will secure it. Baka yata ang pinagtataka nga rito, baka iba yung definition ng Senado rito sa protective custody, hindi nyo pwedeng hulihin, pero pwede naming patakasin. Mahirap po yata pagka ganun yung naging sistema natin. Because it will set a bad precedent right now na yung Senate pwede palang pagtaguan ng isang pugante. So, ibig sabihin, kung ikaw may bala kang maging professional criminal at maraming means ka to be a senator, magsisenador ka. Para pag-uhulihin ka, nandoon ka lang sa Senado. I think, kailangan ma-realize natin yun because napapansin ko po, there is a breakdown of law and order right now. And ako ngayon, nandito ngayon sa NBI, kami ngayon sa NBI, that is what we want to promote, that we have law and order. We have to instill law and order and discipline to every Filipino right now. Then that is a big challenge to all of us, especially with the rise of social media.
Director, as a lawyer that you are, tulungan niyo kaming maunawaan itong sitwasyon na po. Ang Supreme Court, hindi naglabas ng TRO. Tama po bang sabihin na then and now, walang katwiran na hindi effective o walang effectivity yung arrest warrant?
Nung hindi po naglabas ng TRO ang ating Korte Suprema, nangangahulugan lang na valid yung search warrant as we speak. Ibig sabihin, kasi hindi lang po TRO, yung status quo ante na request nila. Ano po ibig sabihin ng status quo ante? Yung babalik ka sa hindi yung present status, yung noon. Ibig sabihin, bago nagkaroon nitong presence nung arrest warrant. So as of now, there is an order from the Department of Justice to effect an arrest, absence of the TRO from the Supreme Court. So we have to effect the arrest as the law enforcement agency.
So yung tumutulong sa pagtatago sa isang pugante dahil sa isang valid arrest warrant, ano po ang pwedeng parusa ron?
Marami po yan, depende kung ano yung pagkatao. Meron po siyempre yung obstruction of justice dyan, tapos yung harboring mo ng criminal, ano po. So, una-una dyan yung harboring, obstruction of justice. If you're a government official working in the government, mas komplikado po yan because we have the Code of Professional Responsibility tsaka yung Republic Act 3019. So, yan po yung mga possibility pwedeng harapin po ng mga taong tutulong po dito. That's why I encourage the public, it is the duty of every Filipino citizen na kung may nakita kayong isang pugante, the likes of Senator Bato, to report it to the law enforcement agency so that we can arrest the person that is being fugitive.
Lalampas po ba ng 6 na taon ng pagkakabilanggo?
Ang malaki po yung penalty niyan. Depende pa po dun sa degree, no? So
pwede
lalampas po
pong-
ng 6 na taon.
Again, speculation. So kung mapapatunayan na talaga nag-harbor ng isang pugante ang isang senador, hindi pwedeng sabihin na sila may immunity from arrest kung ang parusa ay 6 na taon pataas.
Well, that is established that any crime committed by any members of the Congress, whether it's House or Senate, if the penalty is more than 6 years, you are not covered by the immunity from arrest. So, pwede po yan.
Pero yung obstruction of justice, ilan yung penalty daw kung sakali?
I'm not really sure of what is the penalty, pero sabi ko nga, there are other crimes na pwedeng pumasok, so it will come out with a bigger penalty.
Parang lumalabas kasi na hindi lang si Robin ang involved dun sa pagtakas eh.
Well, that is something that we have to investigate. Ano po?
So-
We don't want to have speculation. Alam niyo po, kami sa NBI, we proceed from facts in relation to the law and in relation to the procedure established already by the Bureau.
Hearing that, Director, may chance na maraming maging pugante na senador.
I don't want to go there, no? Kasi that is already an assumption. Pero ang sa akin lang po, my biggest question right now is, nung inilagay mo sa protective custody ng Senado yung inyong colleague at kasama, you should be responsible na pag kailangan siyang humarap sa batas or sa anumang korte or ahensya, you will be able to produce that person based on that commitment. Although, I'm not saying that there is a legal basis for the protective custody. It's more of a matter of courtesy to a co-equal branch from the executive to the legislative.
Direk, when you made that visit on May 14, nagkaroon ba kayo ng pagkakataon to have a one-on-one talk with the senator? And if so, meron ba kayong inkling na that he was
May
up to
11,
something?
ano po?
May 11. That
Hindi,
was up
hindi
to
po.
something.
Hindi na po nakaharap sa akin si Senator Batos. That's why he was not able to see the warrant and read the warrant. Ano po? So that he is entitled to, kung serve yung warrant, ordinary citizen, there's a warrant, you're also entitled to call your lawyer. Para kung may question, may katanungan dun sa warrant, it will be raised. Pero mali naman po yung lawyer, sasabihin sa kanya i-serve yung warrant at siya magsiserve. Wala pong ganon. Sigurado po ako ron, that's under the rules of court. Eh di, baka kasi ang iniisip ni attorney is, let me be the one to serve the warrant, di ba?
Yung pong putukang naganap, ano na po ang nangyari sa investigation ng NBI?
Well, we already have investigation na sarili namin. It is consistent with the findings of the CIDG, which was reported by CIDG. Good morning, Kong Sia. Kasi parang ikaw na matanong rito. Masyado lang. So, tapos na po yun sa amin dahil we made a submission to the DOJ nung ano po namin, aming findings. Yes, sir.
Direk, in everything that transpired nung gabi na yon, sa pagtataya ninyo, and pwede niyong sagutin o pwedeng hindi, meron ba kayong nakikitang pananagutan? Hindi lamang nung mga senador na lumulutang ngayon ng mga pangalan, kundi specifically yung Pangulo ng Senado?
It is an ongoing investigation being conducted by the Department of Justice. At tayo naman, ibinigay na natin yung report. We already submitted also the entire team na nandoon to the CIDG for investigation. The CIDG have their findings. So yung ibang responsible, I think I'd rather not comment on it and wait for the completion of the investigation by the Department of Justice.
Direk, ilang baril ang pumutok?
There is a findings on, ang sigurado ko yung isang 5.56 na gamit ng aking ahente, 5 times. That's a cover shot. Pero there are reports na naririnig ko that parang 40 plus talaga yung bullets na pinutok. And kami on our end, we surrendered for ballistics yung baril na dala nung involved na agent. I'm not sure about Osaa kung ano yung sinurrender nilang baril for ballistics. Pero hindi ko, with definiteness, I cannot say kung ilan talaga yung baril na pumutok. Pero maraming bala ang lumabas going to the direction of GSIS.
Director, maraming mga sibilyan ng may baril, lisensyadong baril. Pero kakibat ng pag-ibigay ng lisensya, ng pribilehiyo na mag-ingat ng baril at magdala sa labas ng tahanan, yung mahigpit na alituntunin na hindi mo pwedeng ipakita na kinakasa mo. Much more, hindi mo pwedeng iputok sa maraming tao unless in danger ka. Sa palagay niyo ba yung ginawa ng sibilyan na si Ginoong Mau Aplasca, yun pa yung ground para bawian na siya ng lisensya makapag-ingat ng baril?
Well, that is another thing that is covered by the investigation of the Department of Justice. We already made a statement on that. Ang sa akin lang, siguro yung nangyari talaga should be fully investigated, and those who are responsible kung kailangang alisan ng karapatan na magdala ng baril, that should be imposed. There are a lot of operational lapses during that time, which I raised already, and I will say it again, yung unang-una kong napansin doon, if there will be a possible encounter, ang unang-una dapat ginawa is to clear the area ng mga civilians. Ang kaso, ang nangyari doon, you do the assault, pumasok ka, naiwan yung mga media, yung mga reporter enough for them to cover what's transpiring, no? So whatever your conclusion on that, ay sa inyo na po yun, but the DOJ will come out with its own findings. At lumabas naman na po, pinakita naman dun sa press briefing with the SILG and PNP chief na talagang walang tao dun sa pinupuntahan except for one agent na nakapwesto lang doon for security purposes. Ano po?
Pwede ho bang kasuhan ng assault or attempted murder?
Well, there are a lot of cases na binibuild up, and again, I'd rather not comment because the Department of Justice will be the one to come out with its own recommendation. Anything that I will say, that is not the point of view of the NBI, but probably me as a lawyer, nakikita ko kung ano yung mga violate at pwede maging kaso ng mga personalities na involved po.
May request na po ba kayo for ILBO para kay Mau Aplaska?
I think even if we don't request it, it's also within the power of the Department of Justice to issue that kasi as part of their investigation.
Meron po mga kumakalat na impormasyon na mayroon daw bodyguard ng isang nagpapakilalang matapang na senador ang kasama sa pumutok.
Covered din po na investigation. I've heard those reports. It's being covered also by the Department of Justice. Ano po?
We'd like to announce the presence of Congressman Sia Adyong, one of the spokespersons ng House Prosecution Team sa imminent trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte. What can you tell us about yung proseso na mangyayari sa first trial date? Parang June 18 or thereabouts?
Hello, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Director Melvin, sa ating mga kasamahan dito sa media. Pasensya na po, medyo nalate po tayo ng dating. Well, unang-una, we have already, the House Prosecution Team have already introduced themselves, the 11 panel House Prosecution Team. Nagkaroon din po ng mga press conferences. And sa ngayon, they have already assigned the articles of impeachment to those 11 panel House Prosecution Team para may focus yung magiging presentation nito sa Senado acting as an impeachment court. Right now, the Senate, we already know that the Senate convened as an impeachment court and they have already issued writ of summons to both camps, the defense and the prosecution. We're just waiting for the release of the comments of the defense. In this case, there's a team of the respondent, Vice President Sara Duterte, her comments on the articles of impeachment. Then thereafter, the House Prosecution Team will be also be releasing their response. So from there, we hope that the Senate can schedule already the pre-trial. This is basically the laying down the ground rules, markings of evidence, the identification of potential witnesses from both sides. And that would actually give us an idea how the flow of the impeachment trial would go. So sa ngayon po, yun po yung ating binabasihan na timeline na ayun po naman sa Senado ay nag-identify na nga po sila, na-determine na nga po nila actually yung deadline nung resubmission nung comments ng defense, which is I guess June 1, and then thereafter the response of the House Prosecution Team. So we are also encouraging everyone to be actively monitor the impeachment trial. Ito po ay sagradong duty, hindi lang ho ng House of Representatives, through the House Prosecution Team, being the prosecution team, but not only also the Senate, sitting as impeachment court, but ito po ay pinag-usapan po natin dito, yung konstitusyon, yung accountability mechanism ng Constitution, which all of us actually are stakeholders. So I think proper lang din po na ihikayatin natin ang publiko na makilahok at makinig at magbantay at mag-evaluate din po at tingnan po kung ano yung magiging takbo ng House impeachment trial. Marami pong salamat.
Yung first day ng trial proper, may direct role bang spokesperson? Wala. May direct role kayo dun sa
Tinitingnan po
first day?
natin kasi sa ngayon, the reason why we are designated as spokes, alam pa naman po natin yung ating mga House prosecution team, pag nagumpisa na po ang trial, medyo limited na po yung access ng media sa kanila. So the way to update the public and engage with the media para makapagbigay po tayo ng hindi lang po accurate information but truthful information, ay magkakaroon din po tayo ng possibility na magkakaroon po tayo ng press briefing para po mapag-usapan at ma-lay down ma-explain ng maayos at ma-lay down po ano yung napag-uusapan sa trial, sa impeachment court, na mas maintindihan ng mas easily understood by the public. So yun po yung pinaka-purpose natin. Pangalawa, para po counter po natin at makombat po natin yung possible na lalabas na mga hindi tamang impormasyon. I think that's one of the reasons why nagtalaga po ng House spokes dahil para ma-counter po yung mga naratibong hindi tama. Kasi ang purpose po talaga kung bakit meron tayong ganitong impeachment dahil unang-una gusto rin po ng taong bayan ng closure, di ba? Matagal na po natin na pag-uusapan ito, invested na po ang tao dito. So ang pinaka-purpose po talaga ng House prosecution team is to give clarity to the public. And the way to do that is to combat the rising of fake news. Alam mo po natin 'yon. Yun po yung magandang paraan na nakikita namin na mag-engage with the media through press briefing regularly once the trial begins.
Daily ba ang daily press briefing?
Titingnan po natin yan kung ano yung magiging suitable na schedule kasi ipapattern din po natin dyan sa days where the Senate would determine yung actual trial. Titingnan po natin yan kung ano yung development ng korte, kung paano po nila ipapakinggan yung mga ebidensya at paano po nila papag-uusapan itong mga articles na ito. So definitely every time na magkaroon po ng trial, thereafter ang naiisip po namin is to hold the press briefing.
Hindi pwedeng diretso ang media dun sa mga House prosecutors or the senators themselves?
Well, unang-una po kasi alam naman po ni Director Melvin na meron pong prinsipyo na sub judice. No, you cannot discuss the merits, especially if you're a prosecutor. I think it's not proper. It's not the right way for prosecutor to discuss matters outside of the court. Pangalawa, syempre bawat both sides may strategy po yan eh. So hindi natin kontrolado kung anong magiging tanong ng media. So, in order to avoid a possible giving out of information, mas maigi na meron tayong mayroong spokesperson to speak on behalf of the House Prosecution Panel. At para po hindi masyadong burdensome sa ating mga prosecutors to engage with the media while studying with the articles that they will be presenting, the evidences that they will be presenting to the court.
Congressman, nabanggit nyo na isa sa magiging katungkulan nyo ay yung paglaban sa fake news. Reserve ko sana kay Professor ang tanong, pero tanong ko na rin sa inyo. Alam naman natin, it's a battle of optics. Battle of the heart, hearts and mind. Tanong ko po sa inyo, ano gagawin ninyo kapag nagsulputan na yung mga nagko-comment sa mga social media account? Of course, alam niyo naman ito. Pag tinrace mo kung saan nagbumula yung mga accounts na ito, Madagascar, Shanghai, Korea, Indonesia. Paano nyo lalabanan yung ganitong ano?
Well, unang-una, mag-engage talaga tayo sa any platform that we can actually use in order to reach a much wider audience para ma-combat yung fake news. Pero sinasabi ko po, when we talk about the impeachment trial, all of us are stakeholders eh. hindi lang pong House Prosecution Team. So, napapanaw na po na lahat po tayo, and now I'm actually requesting the participation of all the society. Kasi this is a whole nation approach dapat if you are really standing on the principle of accountability. It does not make one, since na you are not part of a public service, it doesn't make you, kumbaga parang non-participative in a discussion where we're talking about the accountability mechanism of the Constitution and promoting and upholding the Constitution. So if we are actually in favor of, making sure that our Constitution is alive and well, all of us should also help in preserving the sanctity of the impeachment court. Meaning, we need to combat the fake news, no? So, una, from our end, we will definitely hold regular press briefing, para po makounter yung mga narrative na mali. Pangalawa, we would also engage with other platforms that would give our audience a much easier access for information that is sourced directly from the trial itself and from the House Prosecution Team. And again, the participation of the public, that's why we're also encouraging the public to be more active, no, in fact-checking and knowing which information is accurate and which information are maliciously released for propaganda purposes to serve a certain interest of a certain group.
Okay. I don't want to sound trivial, Nakapag-cover na kami ng ilang impeachment trial. Ang unang na-discover doon, ng mga humaharap, iba pala pag natutukan ka ng camera for more than 30 minutes. So kung titingnan natin yung unang impeachment natin, walang makeup yung mga lalaki na prosecutor at saka mga senador. Ikatlong araw ng impeachment, puro naka-makeup na. Ang tanong ko po sa inyo, meron bang wardrobe specialist o mga makeover na ginawa yung ating mga prosecutor?
Wala naman po. Hindi mo na po napag-uusapan yan. I think dapat personal ng wala naman po. Basta sa amin po, what's important is we relay to the public accurate and truthful information.
Kasi kung titingnan po natin yung mga old footages, maski yung mga reporter ng TV nung araw, 1990s ito, hanggang early 2000, umaharap sa camera nang hindi nagme-makeup ngayon, pag nakikita natin, hindi na, sabi nga, mukhang upgraded na, mukhang yayamanin na ang mga nakikita sa TV.
At this point, siguro, tanungin natin yung public poll expert, si Clive Arguelles. Ano yung findings niyo ng public sentiment regarding the impeachment process at this point?
Good morning. Thank you for having me here. I'm here to talk about public opinion on the ongoing impeachment proceedings as well as the ICC proceedings, if there's also interest in that. The most recent surveys on the impeachment, ito po ay prior pa to the House Justice Committee hearing, where we have seen new and extensive evidence. And second, definitely prior to the House plenary vote on the impeachment, that sent the articles of impeachment to the Senate. Sa lahat po ng iba't ibang mga survey firms, yung March pa na survey yung ating pinagbabatayan. And there are several things that we can say about those impeachment surveys, One is that it's very clear, whether with us at WR Numero or, for example, in Okta survey, I've seen the results that there is an overwhelming number of Filipinos, between 70%, if you look at Okta, sa amin po sa WR Numero, 80. So between 7 to 8 out of 10 Filipinos demanding that the impeachment trial should happen. So they want the Vice President to face the allegations in an impeachment trial. And that has been consistent from before. Last year, we also did the survey, the first impeachment proceedings against the Vice President. And there is always an overwhelming majority of Filipinos na gusto nila na matuloy ang impeachment trial because they want the Vice President to face the allegations against her. And this is, to note, very important, this is across classes, whether the poorest or the richest among us. This is also across different age groups, so young and old, but most importantly, across regions as well, no? So you'd also be surprised that even in Mindanao, 61%, so that's 6 in 10 Mindanaoan, saying that they want the impeachment trial to proceed, no? So, it's a different question whether they want the Vice President to be acquitted or convicted, but at this point, the public opinion is clear that they want the impeachment trial to proceed. Secondly po, aside from that, and I think alarmingly and related to what Congressman here is saying, is that we have an issue about the knowledge of our people sa evidence and on the process of the impeachment, no? About half, 50% po ng ating mga kababayan nagsasabi na kulang yung kanilang kaalaman tungkol sa ebidensya at aligasyon laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte. So I think ito yung babantayan sa Senate Impeachment Court, whether yung public understanding ba ng evidence, public understanding ng mga allegations laban sa kanya, whether that will change. But right now, alarmingly, marami pong mga kababayan natin ang nagsasabi na hindi sapat yung kanilang kaalaman at impormasyon sa ebidensya kaugnay po ng impeachment. So, yun po muna.
So kung maraming kababayan natin, 50% ang kulang sa kaalaman, sa facts, hindi ho ba ibig sabihin nun napakalaki ng fertile ground for cultivation ng fake news?
Yes, I think nakikita na po natin ngayon, we have seen that in action, that beginning with the House impeachment proceedings, hanggang ngayon na nag-convene yung impeachment court, lumalangoy sa mga fake news yung ating mga kababayan in almost all platforms. And this is a challenge not only for the House prosecution team, but also the Senate as an impeachment court. I think, yes, we've had different impeachment trials in the past, pero ito ata yung unang makakaharap ng Senate impeachment court na kailangan nilang intindihin paano yung disinformation, diba? Kasi before, they can rely on the media to accurately report on the proceedings. They can rely on the media to truthfully. Pero papaano po ngayon na may social media, maraming mga hindi participants to the trial that will take advantage of the situation. So I have no knowledge of whether the impeachment court will be interested, pero kailangan din siguro nila magkaroon ng policy or strategy kasi this is a public engagement issue as well.
Mamaya may tatanong ko tungkol dyan sa usapin niya kay Director. But anyway, Clive, ang paniniwala, kaya popular yung ini-impeach, kasi yung image sa pinoportray niya, yung magandang kakampi. Matapang, popular, maraming resources na available, malawak ang network. Sa salita ng Tagalog, parang hindi matitibag. Pero ang nakitang image kamakailan, kumakaripas ng takbo, nagkakandara pa, nag-iiyak, kumahagulhol, nagsusumbong na parang maamang tupa sa kapwa senador. Anong epekto nito dun sa tila noon ay umaaring, hindi ko kasi alam, kung invincible pa rin yung kanilang image?
Yes, I think ang isa pong batayan natin dyan, yung sa survey ay yung numbers ni Vice President Sara kapag usapin ng 2028 pre-election preferences sa presidential race. It hasn't really moved at all, no? Since nag-announce siya, since last year, wala nang pagbabago. At kahit po yung tapos yung kanyang mga potential rivals, wala pa namang nag-a-announce na iba bukod sa kanya, nagkakaroon ng pagtaas ng kanilang mga numero. I see that in a way na very concentrated na po yung support kay Vice President Duterte if you look at the numbers in a specific part of the Philippines, no? Siyempre malaking bahagi niyan ay galing talaga sa hometown nila, no? Davao City, and then the neighboring areas in Mindanao. Pero for the rest of the Philippines, I think ang clear po ay nababasag yung imahe ng katapangan noong buong Duterte family and their allies. Kasi meron tayong, sa mga nag-aaral ng Philippine politics, di ba, meron tayong pagtingin, no, dati pa, no, dahil pagka bumabalik tayo, ating mga datu, ating mga raha, may idea tayo na dapat yung leader natin may certain level of lakas, di ba? Pero nakikita natin yung paghina kasi sila Vice President Sara hindi masyadong sumaharap dun sa mga aligasyon, never naman sila nag-participate dun sa House proceedings, and then you have of course the allies, the key allies, Senator Bato de la Rosa, tumatakbo po sa kanyang arrest warrant, at hindi lang naman the first time, no? You also have the former spokesperson, Secretary Harry Roque, also a fugitive, diba? And si former President Rodrigo Duterte naman, sa ICC niya, hindi pa humaharap, never pa ding nag-allow yung defense team niya doon na mag-participate siya in person doon sa ongoing trial niya.
Cliff, nabanggit mo yung parang nababasag yung imahe ng Katapangan. Naalala ko noon, may isang kapatid na nagaman ng boxing. Hindi sumipot. Tapos ang nakitang video na kumakalat, ang binubugbog ay isang bading. Yung bang mga ganong image, pardon na, kasi kayo sa WR numero, alam kong ano kayo mas OC pa kaysa sa amin pagdating sa ganyang mga malilit na bagay. May pag-aaral ba kayo kung yung seemingly sa mga kagaya namin karaniwang mamamahayag, walang epekto sa public image? Yan ba hindi ka napuportray na ganyang image nakakabasag dun sa alamat?
I think kasi for the past years na sila po ay in power, yung Duterte administration, ganito din naman yung kanilang mga hamon, no? O magsuntukan tayo, o ipapapatay kita, o you face me, magharap tayo. Pero yung difference kasi noon, dahil I think may climate of fear among our politicians, ay hindi sila sinasagot sa kanilang hamon. Diba? Pag ang presidente, tinrete niya yung members of Congress na harapin niyo ko, wala masyadong sagot na natatanggap pabalik. Pero ngayon yung difference ay, nakikita kasi na humahamon sila, may sumasagot sa hamon, hindi pala nila mapangatawanan yung hamon. I think, alam naman po natin na ngayon, dahil babad sa social media, babad sa media yung ating mga kababayan, at parang, dahil sa Senado din, sobrang naging parang teleserye na po yung politika natin sa bansa, malaking bagay po yung imahe, malaking bagay po kung ano po yung ipinapakitang karakter ng ating mga politiko at kasama dyan ng Duterte family na kung ganun po yung ipinapakita nila, I think may malaking effect yan, no? Sa mga susunod na survey, ina-expect natin actually na makaka-apekto, halimbawa po kay Senator Bato de la Rosa, since 2024, majority ng nasa-survey po namin ay gusto na harapin niya yung kaso sa ICC personally, no, na siya po ay maaresto at iba pang mga alleged na co-perpetrators in that proceedings, no. So I think more and more magkakaroon lang ng magki-crystallize lang yung public opinion na dapat nilang harapin tong iba't ibang mga kaso. So makaka-affect po yun dun sa kanilang image, no, na sila ay hindi matitibag.
Kung 6 to 7 Filipinos support the impeachment process, does that all mean that popular support for VP Sara has declined substantially?
Kinukuha ko
And
lang
how
yung
would that
numbers ko.
square with yung popularity niya, claimed popularity going to 2028?
Yes. For the Vice President po, yung kanyang popularity, and this has started talaga last year, ay it's concentrated in a very specific part of the Philippines, no. So halimbawa, if you do a survey in Mindanao, no, a good majority will say that they have support of the Vice President, no. Pero nakita nga natin, kahit naman yung supporters niya in Mindanao, they want her to face the impeachment trial. They are on a wait-and-see din na sa impeachment trial, no. And then in other places, like syempre in Metro Manila, halimbawa, the reverse is true. You'll find it hard, no. Around 2 in 10 na lang in Metro Manila will actually say that they're happy with the performance of the Vice President, no. So it has become that, no. So kaya nga I think very important din po yung fact na even among the supporters of the Vice President, no, ay naghihiling no ng impeachment trial. And of course no, kagaya po ng mga nabanggit na dito, kahit po kaming mga gumagawa ng survey, malinaw naman sa atin na hindi naman popularity contest yung impeachment no. It's a mechanism for accountability, and right now marami sa mga kababayan natin yung hindi pa alam yung buong ebidensya, so baka din na magbago din yung public opinion on anong gusto nilang public opinion on the Vice President once the evidence has been been made available doon po sa Senate Impeachment Court.
Professor, yung results nitong impeachment trial, yung proceedings in its entirety, how would this play out doon sa 2028 elections? Yung results nito, specifically doon sa ibang mga kandidato from the national level and sa mga local, meaning yung alliances, will this be a factor?
So, yes po. Siyempre, I think yung unang-una, si Vice President, kung ma-vote na convict at perpetually disqualified, sayang pala yung surveys namin. Hindi na po siya magka-count no, doon sa 2028. No? Doon naman sa mga ibang players, I think we have a good understanding na for both the House prosecutors and the senator judges, kung paano po nila i-perform yung role nila sa impeachment court, ay may effect po sa kanilang popularity and public support para sa kanila, 'di ba? So halimbawa po, meron po tayo mga nakakitaan in the previous impeachment trials na mga senador na talagang nagpakita na kakampi lang sila doon sa kanilang kaalyado kahit pa yung ebidensya ay pagtakpan, 'di ba? Halimbawa, doon po sa impeachment trial ni Vice President Estrada, yung merong mga nanganib sa sumunod na eleksyon dahil po doon sa hindi po nagustuhan ng publiko yung kanilang performance bilang senator judges. Meron naman ding mga House prosecutors na nagkaroon ng national profile, national public support dahil dun sa kanilang performance, no? So I think malaki po yung magiging epekto ng impeachment trial. There's a lot of uncertainties, but definitely lahat po nung involved na participants doon from the Vice President herself to the allies of the Vice President, majority, minority senator judges, and the prosecution team itself, no? Lahat po yun magkakaroon ng panibagong public perception yung mga kababayan natin.
Walk us through dun sa March 13 to 16 results ng WR numero, where you reported that 39% of your respondents supported yung presidential bid ng Vice President. Tama ba yung figures ko?
Yes po.
Attorney. Professor. Kung sakasakali dito sa trial na ito, doon sa mga bailiwicks na meron yung pangalawang Pangulo, maapektuhan pa ba kung magkaroon ng conviction siya? At paano naman doon sa mga lugar kung saan medyo malapit yung bakbakan doon sa susunod na kandidato sa pagkapangulo?
Yes po. So actually, meron din po kaming questions on the second choice, no? Kung sakaling yung kanilang first choice ay hindi available, no? Sino naman yung kanilang gustong iboto? Doon po sa mga sumusuporta kay VP Sara, meron pong dalawang pangalan na lumilitaw na maaari nilang i-consider second choice nila, no? Una po dyan, I think unsurprising naman si Senator Bongo, no? 47% of those 39% are saying na second choice nila si Senator Bongo. Sumunod po dyan ay si Senator Raffy Tulfo at 19%. No? So, meron din pong mga supporters ni VP Sara na kung di siya tatakbo, hindi siya makatakbo, maaaring iboto nila si Senator Raffy Tulfo. Yun po yung isa sa very relevant na insight dito na kung hindi makatakbo si VP Sara, no? Tapos kung si dating Vice President Leni Robredo naman ay hindi makatakbo dahil hindi pa naman siya nagdedeklara at sinasabi niyang hindi siya tatakbo, ang pinakamalaking numero naman po ng second choice ay si Senator Raffy Tulfo, no? Among Leni Robredo supporters, gusto nila na si Senator Raffy Tulfo na lang yung kanilang iboboto, no? That's at 28%, no? So yun po, yun yung pwedeng dalawa. So nangangahulugan, mukhang may chance na ma-attract ni Senator Raffy yung mga voters ni Vice President Sara if hindi siya makatakbo at makakakuha din siya ng mga boto mula sa Robredo camp.
May tanong pala ako kasi nung yung mga old enough na obserbahan ng politika ng Pilipinas, swing yung yung presidency. Simulan natin kay FM, senior, strongman. Ang ipinalit sa kanya, consultative na si Cory Aquino. Ang ipinalit kay Cory Aquino, decisive, strongman, Ramos. Ipinalit kay Ramos, consultative, not so strongman, si Erap. Naupo si GMA, decisive, iron hand. Ang ipinalit sa kanya, consultative, Noynoy Aquino. Ipinalit kay Noynoy, strongman. Ipinalit ng Pilipino, dun sa strongman, another consultative, BBM. Yung bang trend na yan sa palagay mo, nagbago na?
So, maganda observation po yan. And in fact, ginagamit namin siyang framework, yung pendulum ng populism versus reformism na mukhang nagsiswing tayo sa dalawang points na yon na minsan gusto natin ng very popular, may malasakit sa mga mahihirap, consultative, no, and then sometimes naman very reformist, no, talagang cleaning the house, no, may agenda to portray good leadership, no, manage the state, the affairs of the state, no. Pero yung pendulum po na yan, since we've started observing that, marami na din pong nagbago sa national political landscape. Kaya I think, marami na ding, so halimbawa na lamang po sa Senado, nung last na election, hindi po ba nahihirapan na din yung ating mga celebrities to get into the Senate, na dati naman ay medyo mas madali sa kanilang makapasok sa Senado. And kami pong bilang observers, sinasabi namin na because din nag-fragment na yung national media landscape natin, hindi na iisa yung pinapanood natin, hindi na iisang pelikula, iisang teleserye, isang series, yung kapangyarihan ng isang celebrity has also fragmented, no? Minsan nga, 'di ba, pwedeng kilala mo yung sasabihin ng anak mo, kapitbahay mo na eto, kilala mo ba to, sobrang sikat nito sa pinapanood ko, but hindi mo pa siya kilala, hindi mo pa siya napanood. So, ganun din po yung tingin natin na malaki yung chance na magbago yung swing pa din doon sa presidential landscape given na napaka-fast po nung pag-evolve ng buong political landscape natin ngayon. Not to mention na yaan pong napakabago po sa politika ng ating bansa yung International Criminal Court. We've never had that in Philippine politics, no? At yun din pong so marami din pong mga variables to consider.
Clive, maraming dati pumipili ng ibinoboto. Ito gusto ko kasi ganito. Pero bakit nagkisimulan na yata yung trend, kung nakita yun sa numero, na mas ang pinagbabatayan sa pagboto for what he or she is not?
Ano po ibig sabihin?
Ayoko dito kasi hindi ko ito kalahi. Ayoko dito kasi hindi ako gano'n, hindi ako kagrupo. Sabi nga ng ibang mga nakakwentuhan, dati hinahanap yung qualification. Ngayon, disqualification ang hinahanap sa pagde-decide. Para lang love affair, hinahanap yung disqualification.
Yan. So, ito po, hindi lang naman natin nararanasan sa Pilipinas, pero sa iba't ibang mga bansa din po, ito po yung phenomenon ng polarization, kung saan na hindi na lamang tayo motivated na mag-participate sa politics dahil meron tayong sinusuportahan, diba? Na gusto ko tong kandidato na to, naniniwala ko sa kandidato na to. Motivated na din tayo dahil meron tayong ayaw doon sa mga nasa politika, no? Yun po yung kinamumuhian, no? Yun po yung pinaka-definition ng polarization, na magpa-participate ako, boboto ako kasi I want to make sure na hindi makakapasok si taong ganito doon po sa gobyerno. So yun po yun.
Professor, yung for lack of a better term, yung posturang pakipot ng dating pangalawang Pangulo, nag-work pa ba sa kanya ito sa ngayon base dun sa pagpalo ng kanyang numero? At pangalawang tanong, hanggang kailan niya pwedeng ma-utilize ito o masamantala ito para at least nandun pa rin siya sa yung relevance niya ma-maintain?
Yes. Una, kung nag-work po yung kanyang reluctance or yung pagiging pakipot, I think the numbers will tell us na nag-work kasi hindi pa siya nag-a-announce. Sinasabi niya repeatedly na hindi siya tatakbo, pero tumataas po yung kanyang numero, no? Sabi ko nga, may halo effect both kay Vice President Lenny at kay Senator Raffy Tulfo. May halo effect, no? Habang nakabinbin kasi yung mga usapin kay VP Sara, parang meron siyang impeachment penalty, habang di yun nasasagot, hindi naka-clarify kung siya ba ay talagang nagnakaw, may unexplained wealth, no, and all. May halo effect dun sa dalawang rivals eh. Kaya, parang my observation is that you don't have to actually do anything at this point, no, because you benefit, no, as kayo yung susunod, no, baka pagka may ginawa pa kayo, baka mawala pa yung halo effect na yon na niyayakap sila ng taong bayan. And then secondly, gaano katagal na pwedeng gawin? Matagal pa po kasi maaga lang namang nagdeklara si VP Sara. And that's not usual in Philippine politics. So technically, mukhang late lang yung ibang mga kandidato, pero masyado lang maagang nagdeklara si VP Sara. Pero mahaba pa naman yung runway bago po yung 2028 elections. But of course, the question is, enough ba yung magiging paghahanda, no, ng iba't ibang kampo kung hindi pa sila magde-decide ngayon. And I think kaya yung mga supporters ni VP Lenny ngayon pa lang kinukumbinsi na siya na i-consider yung pagtakbo.
Sige, at this point,
Sige, bago. Baka makawala yung tanong kay Director. Tanong ko lang. Director, yung NTC nire-require na lahat ng SIM card nakarehistro na. Meron pa rin fake news. Ang tanong ko po sa inyo, yung hiding in the cloak of anonymity ng mga nagpo-post ng mga fake news, totoo bang anonymous sila o may kakayahan kayong makalawit ang mga ito?
Well, actually, hello. Actually, marami na po kaming na-take down na mga fake accounts. We just not reporting it. We're doing it on a day-to-day basis. We have coordination already with Meta and they're very supportive. And from the time na dumating po ako sa bureau, I think we already take down about more than 2,000 accounts na po na wala talagang identity, personality. And some of them are now facing charges and some of them are under investigation. Ano po. So, tama-tama nandito si Kong Sia. We are probably proposing a bill na gawing batas yung tungkol po dun sa pag-monitor dito kasi wala tayong specific na batas. We're always hearing yung troll farms, may troll farms, pero wala kaming legal basis or legal cover to go after troll farms. So dapat it somehow should also be regulated. Ang mga nahuhuli namin in relation to cybercrime law of 2012, yung halimbawa mga financial scam, lab scam, mga ganyan, those are mga POGO operators before na nag-collapse into different scam hubs, no? Yun naman sa troll, ito yung tinatawag natin inauthenticate coordinate behavior na parang feeling nila papalabas sila may isang source sila, palalabas sila parang totoo yun, then makikita mo mag-spread na totoo sa social media, marami na mag-pick up, hanggang umabot na rin sa organic, sa mga totoong account, yun ay nagiging problema. And we're addressing it. We are in the process of procuring tools to combat this para po malabanan natin itong ganitong sistema.
Yung pong AI ginagamit na, may nakikita ko, akala ko ikaw talaga Yung pala AI lamang. Paano ito? Paano ito makukorekt?
That's the one that part of our proposal to Congress that should be regulated. Kasi it somehow violate also your privacy from my point of view. Maganda man o pangit yung portrayal sa AI na ginagawa. I've seen that also, nakikita ko yan. Pero somehow, you have your own privacy na dapat should be protected. So, we will have dialogues with our legislative body para po paano natin ito ma-address. Ano po?
Dito. Sige. From ABS.
Hello po. Magandang umaga. Si Jervis po ako sa ABS-CBN. My question is for Representative Adyong. No, so recently, I think yesterday and this morning, there has been a push sa Senate for Senator Sherwin Gatchalian to be Senate President. Ano po sa tingin niyo epekto nitong seemingly unstable Senate leadership when it comes to the impeachment?
Well, as far as we maintain institutional respect to our co-equal branch, that is an internal dynamics within the Senate. And I think in terms of the decision, collective decision, whether the senators will be changing the leadership, that is entirely up to the decision of the individual senators. Ang sa amin lang sa House Prosecution Team, being the spokesperson, we try to avoid or refrain from commenting anything that actually intervene into the internal dynamics of the Senate. So, ang pinaninindigan namin, whoever becomes the Senate President or whatever is the composition of the Senate in terms of key positions in the Senate will not affect the soundness and the volume of evidences that the House prosecution the team will be presenting to the impeachment court.
And, sir, nung House impeachment proceedings, marami na tayo na-uncover, no? We have APLAC statements, lumabas, Madriaga, lumabas. Ang dami na natin bagong informasyon na nakuha from the House level. So, may mga bago pa bang aapangan yung publiko when it comes to impeachment trial? Ano ba yung bago i-represent mo? Yung mga bago pang witnesses na iharap for the trial?
So what I can tell you is based on the possible witnesses, it would be still consistent with the testimonies and the documents that we have gathered. In the pre-trial, I believe, setting down the grand rules for the impeachment court to proceed. So part of that is actually identification of the potential witnesses with that markings of evidences. So, doon po makikita natin, no, kung ano yung magiging presentasyon ng House prosecution team, at the same time also the defense. So, in-anticipate natin that all evidences will be released and probably will be discussed in the pre-trial. No? But other possible witnesses, that would depend on the acceptance of the Senate acting as impeachment court, because, of course, kailangan din natin maging transparent to the court as a sign of respect to the court.
And last na lang po from my end. May mga senators po na nagsasabi na they think na itong impeachment trial will only last for like 2 months, a few months. Kayo po sa House, bilang spokesperson ng prosecution team, ano po yung foresight po ninyo, gaano po katagal o tatagal itong impeachment?
Well, as to the determination of how this impeachment trial will be concluded, that would entirely up to the determination of the Senate acting as an impeachment court, because they will be the one to set the dates and the days by which presentation of both sides of their testimonies of their witnesses and their evidences will be based on. No? So we entirely respect the decision of the court, but ang gusto lang natin ma-establish is that it will be given enough time for all the articles to be aired, to be explained to the public, because again, we are all stakeholders in this case, in this issue. No, ang pinag-usapan natin dito, ang gaano katatag ang ating constitution, gaano nagwi-withstand ang constitution despite the political pressure, gaano nagwi-withstand ang constitution despite the scare tactics that have been employed by different sectors in our society. This is actually a litmus test for us na masasabi natin that this democracy still works, and this is the perfect and democratic venue for both sides to air their complaint. So, yun lang po yung pinaninindigan na substantial time to give both sides the proper, the adequate, the adequate time for them to express and present their evidences. Because ultimately, the people wants to hear evidences, wants to see kung ano yung nilalaman nitong mga allegations na ito. At sinabi naman kanina po ng ating expert dito, mas kinalin po yung mga supporters ng Vice President, gusto din po nila makita yung mga ebidensya. So it only means to say na ang buong bayan ay invested talaga dito. So whether or not it would be shorter than 2 months or it will run longer than 2 months, that would depend on the impeachment court. And we will comply with whatever the impeachment court determines as to the timeline.
Sir, last na lang. Naniniwala po kayo sa House na prosecution panel na aabot talaga sa botohan itong impeachment trial at hindi ito ma-archive o hindi ma-derail yung process, hindi mag-resign si VP Sara during the time na umaandar ang trial?
Yun ang ina-anticipate natin because we are saying that the House 11 panel prosecution team is ready, more than ready, 150% ready to face the impeachment court and present their evidences. That is the premise where we're coming from. Now, as to the eventualities that might happen within the Senate, that is for us to something that we cannot bank our position on, Because that could, these are hypothetical circumstances that might happen or may not happen. So focus kami doon sa paano ipresenta sa publiko itong mga allegations na ito at saka itong mga articles of impeachment.
Kung ako po si JC Cosing from TV5. Sir, yung thoughts nyo lang po doon sa panel, doon sa proposal on allowing online participation doon po sa impeachment trial and possible remote voting?
Una, I think nasa Senate, I don't know if they have already adopted or tried to amend the Senate rules of impeachment, pero ang pagkakaalam po namin, physical dapat yung presence ng mga huwis. Even if the regular court proceedings, ang mga huwis ay nandyan because it is indispensable to arrive into a fair judgment for a senator on the merits of the case without having to physically evaluate and examine the evidences and to direct cross-examine witnesses who would be in the witness stand. So, kailangan po, para sa amin, kailangan po talaga na physical yung presence ng ating mga huwis na senador. For us, for the public to be able to at least derive from their own conclusion the way they have seen the proceedings na fair at talagang tapat yung naging performance ng ating mga senador at huwis.
Same question po for Sir Cleve. To Sir Cleve po.
I think from the perspective siguro ng public na it would be a disservice to their duty as senator judges, no? Kung hindi sila magpa-participate physically and fully doon sa impeachment trial. Tandaan natin na una, gustong-gusto ng taong bayan na makita yung impeachment trial, magiging nakatutok. At they have to be there to fully understand everything para magawa talaga nila yung duty nila to assess whether to convict or acquit the Vice President.
Meron lang ako idadagdag, no? I think, naintindihan naman natin that the impeachment process, the impeachment trial, is a sacred duty, especially for the senators, to try and decide. So, napaka-importante ito. This is not just an ordinary legislative function where pwede kang mag-Zoom o pwede kang mag-remotely vote, no? Ito, pinag-uusapan dito, accountability ng isang impeachable officers. So, I think by, on that basis alone, that this is a sacred duty not to be able to be present all the time is an indication that you are not taking seriously your sacred duty, which resonates negatively to the public.
Nahiya lang po siguro yung taga TV5 na tanongin kay Director tungkol sa online voting. Na-sense ko ang gusto niyang itanong eh. Kaya niyo bang matrace kung nasa saan si Senador Bato kapag ginamit niya yung online participation?
Well, hello. Right now, we have technologies that I cannot divulge publicly, but we have technologies to track down people, ano? And other than that, we have counterparts who already helping us also for the tracking down. Not only of Senator Bato, but all other personalities who are fugitive from justice, ano?
Sige po, i-rephrase ko ang tanong ko. So, you are eagerly waiting for his online participation?
Well, as a matter of procedure sa Senate, and I speak not as a director but as a lawyer, I think I have to agree with the Kongsiya, no, that when you're a judge, you have to examine the behavior of a witness. And I don't think it will be possible for somebody who's attending online hearing to see the body language, the demeanor. It's like you're profiling a witness. Kung ano ba yung behavior niya, kung ano yung mannerisms, kung ano yung nagiging actions niya during the trial when a question is being asked. Dapat siguro ganun, ano? And more than that, sinabi pa na maganda ni Kong Sia is there is a rule na I don't know if it's already been amended by the Senate. But in relation to what you're saying, sir, that I'm waiting for him to go online sa hearing. There are other ways to track him than which will not compromise the process of the impeachment. Because that impeachment is, I think, in the hierarchy of importance and in rights, mas malaki yung answerability siguro sa, we owe it to the people na yung impeachment should be treated with the sanctity and sacredness. But yung pag-aresto rin naman kay Senator Bato in the same vein is mabigat din, ano? So we have to strike a balance. At the end of the day, you will look at the rules and the procedure kung ano yung mas dapat natin na masunod. Yes, we want to arrest Senator Bato, but we don't want to go outside of the process. We will follow every process because that is our commitment to our mandate na yung isang aarestuhin mo should be given enough protection also as provided for by our Constitution, by the law of the land.
Director, pwede niyo siguro hindi sagutin kung makukompromise yung mga sekretong teknolohiya ng NBI. Pero yung mga kilalang tao sa mundo na wanted sa may pananagutan, Osama Bin Laden, na-trace dahil sa minsan lang niya na pag-online. Yung mga generals ng Iranian, nahulugan ng bomba within 15 to 20 minutes nang sila ay mag-online, nang mag-message sa kanilang cellphone. May ganun bang approximation tayo ng teknolohiyang hawak ang ating law enforcement agency sa Pilipinas?
We have the technologies that can assist us to locate people. But probably the problem sa Pilipinas is not much on the technology, baring hindi ganun ka-advanced, but also yung terrain natin eh. Iba yung terrain talaga natin eh. And you have to recognize also the personalities that you mentioned, like Osama Bin Laden, he's being tracked for how many years before talaga siya nahanap, no? So, ang isang challenge nga talaga dito, I'll go back to what I said earlier, is Senator Bato came from the law enforcement, so alam niya how the law enforcement will think and will work in order to track him, no? So that's maybe the challenge. But we want to arrest him without any delay. Talagang pag nakita natin siya, we will arrest him and bring him to the folds of the justice system.
Kong Sia, is the leadership satisfied with how the impeachment process unfolded in the House? Number one. And number two, speaking of yung mga members ng Congress who were stripped off of their positions in key committees, bahagi ba ito ng sanctions ng liderato sa kanila for voting against the impeachment?
Well, the leadership understands naman that this is a sacred duty that the House of Representatives has to perform. No, it's very clear naman doon eh. There's no degree of authority that you can actually use in order to block the progress of a constitutional directive, no, given to the House of Representatives. That's very clear. Whether they're satisfied or not, again, the issue is whether the House of Representatives will stand by the Constitution or whether the House of Representatives give in to pressures, no. And what we have proven last week with 257 votes across the country, no, if you do mapping, even in Mindanao, there's a substantial number of district representatives who have voted in favor of the impeachment. It's not really satisfaction. It's how we fulfill our duty to the Constitution. Because this is no longer personality-based discussion. This is about the Constitution speaking. Now, on the second issue, the committee chairmanship, it's allocated to per party. No? Per party yan eh. So, hindi naman pag nalagay ka dyan is forever ka nandyan. Kasi at any given time, membership can actually change in every committee. So, yung mga changes, it happens regularly. It is not something that happens now. It happens regularly. No? Nagkaroon lang ata kasi ng issue ng impeachment. That's why many are trying to associate that changes in the committee chairmanship of the result that came out during the voting. So, I guess it's more of a party decision, because the party actually chooses among their party mates na naka-assign sa isang committee na yon who will maintain and who will continue as chairman of the committee.
Na-curious lang ako, Kong, dun sa tanong kanina nung aking kaibigan. Would you know how much fund was allocated by the House to defray expenses in the course of the trial?
I don't have the exact figure to give you. Pero ang alam ko po, this will be charged sa MOOE ng House of Representatives. So hindi ko lang po masasabi sa iyo kung how much exactly is magkano po yung amount na ito. But what I can tell you is it would be commensurate to the required assistance by the prosecution team pag nag-umpisa na po itong trial na ito.
Naalala ko nung panahon ng mga kudita, tumaas ang enrollment, aplikante sa PMA. Nung panahon ng impeachments sa ating bansa, ang daming nangarap maging abogado. So parang ibinoboto ng mga kabataan yung kanilang kagustuhan sa pamamagitan ng pagsasanla ng kanilang kinabukasan. Tanong ko kay Director, Director, sa ginagawa niyo bang yan, anong epekto? Marami bang nag-a-apply ngayon na maging NBI agents?
Actually, we already opened the application for NBI agents. I just like to share to everyone. Baka akala po ng marami, yung NBI napakarami namin compared to the Philippine National Police. Ang strength po ng PNP is about 250,000. Ang NBI po, sa buong Pilipinas na po, nasa 2,000 lang kami. And yung agent niyan is about 380. So we are in the process of recruitment kasi ang target po sana namin, every batch, makakuha kami ng mga at least 40 recruits. So, when I came in as an NBA director, I want to improve the academy, the NBA Academy. We just opened an NBA Academy in Legazpi. So, meron po tayo magiging training facilities. We have one in Baguio, but we are now renovating it. Pero what we want to do is put up a big academy. We are targeting Sana Clark, or there's a property in Tanay being donated to us 10 hectares. Yung actual talaga siya na academy, and I will also seek the help of the Congress in this one na ma-legislate din ito, something that is comparable to FBI Academy, na para talaga siyang university. So, ang requirement po namin dito for those interested to apply, marami na pong nag-a-apply right now, is that you're a lawyer or you're a graduate of course na meron kang criminology, pwede po yan, CPA, nurse, yung po may board exam, mga board passers po. Of course, with good moral character, ganyan po. And we are recruiting nationwide para po makadagdag dun sa complement po namin. Sana nga po, maraming maging interesado. And right now, marami po nagiging interesado because I think they've been seeing right now that NBI is very visible. I will be 100 days in my office on June 3, and I'd like to report na we have already apprehended and leading to prosecution and services of warrants of more than 250 cases po from the time that I assumed office in February 21. At lahat po yan, iba-ibang kaso na po yan, ranging from human trafficking, OSAIC, violation of the Dangerous Drug Act, meron din po mga kasama po financial scam, illegal gambling, halo-halo na po yan. Kaya yung po mga allegations sa NBI na puro politika yung inaasikaso, I'd just like to set this with that idea. Kasi kung titingnan nyo naman, ilan lang naman yung politically active personalities na aming nahuli. Mahirap naman po na if we're involved in some sort of politics, sasabihin natin pag hinuli ka, pinupolitika. Just like right now that we're after Senator Bato, he's a fugitive from justice. So, kailangan pong panagutan niya. Kailangan natin siyang arestuhin. Like what happened in Chicago KTV, that is a clear-cut human trafficking. Kailangan pong papanagutin yan. With Jason Shaw, we have to arrest him kasi there is a valid warrant issued by a competent court. So, rest assured that in NBI, we're just doing our mandate, not based on politics, not based on your personal belief, or not based on your preference, or kung ano mang itsura ng tao. So, ang tinitingnan po namin dito yung kung ano yung factual, kung ano yung batas na naaayon sa proseso na dapat gawin po base sa mandato ng NBI.
Director, nabanggit yung Chicago. Ano na po ang latest doon? Kasi ang potential na kaso na nabanggit nyo yun ay human trafficking, walang piyansa yun.
Meron po kaming submission ng aming reply sa June 3 po. Tapos I think after that, wala na pong sagot yung parties po, it will be submitted for resolution. But there are other individuals that we will be filing additional cases probably next month po, kinukumpleto lang po namin yung aming mga attachment na evidence.
Opo. So, galing po sa inyo, iniimbestigahan yung wife, yung anak, at saka yung dating politiko.
Yung wife po at saka yung anak is already been a case was already been filed with the prosecutor of Pasig. Then the other personalities, we have just finished doing the matrix kung ano yung involvement, and eventually we will file cases. Hopefully by next week may file na po namin ito.
Next week, ipapal yung kaso.
Sana po matapos na
Ano
namin.
pong kaso ang pwedeng isang
Human
pansin?
trafficking pa rin po ang kaso.
So, based po dun sa kasong na isang pa sa human trafficking, Alice Goo, Harry Roque, nung nakaraan, walang piyansa ito.
Yes, no bail po, and we have studied it. Pasok po ito sa qualified human trafficking because if the human trafficking is done by 3 or more individuals, immediately qualified. Tapos if the human trafficking ended up in prostitution, qualified din po yun. And the prosecutor will always recommend a no bail in these cases. Very strict po yung batas natin sa human trafficking.
Ito, saan? Sige, ito muna, ito.
Sir, since you considered Senator Bato as part of the dangerous, will you consider or recommend to PNP to revoke his firearms license or automatic niya dahil fugitive na siya?
Well, they have a process na sinusunod, so we don't want to parang step on the toes of the PNP. And sila rin naman, there are law enforcement, kasama rin sila sa inorderan ng DOJ to effect the arrest. So I think they will do according to their process. Ano?
Si former PNP Chief Torre, sabi nga, willing siyang tumulong sa pag-aresto kay Senator Bato. Kung nasa MMDA area siya or utusan siya ni Presidente, ano po ang thoughts niyo? Malaki tulong ba si former PNP?
Of course, everyone will be a big help kasi if you recall on May 11, inunseal na ng ICC yung warrant. So it's been public already. So if you're a punitive of justice at alam naman na may warrant, anybody can help to effect the arrest. And of course, the expertise of General Torre, malaking tulong yun. I've heard that he's joking nga, pag nandun siya sa may ilo, pwede ko siyang arrestuin. Well, any one of us can effect an arrest. It is an arrest because he's a fugitive from justice. Genocide yung kaso nito. Yung mga namatay na tao, hindi na pwedeng mang-aresto. Pero tayo mga buhay pa, pwede tayo mag-aresto to bring him to the fold of justice. And if you recall, si Senator Bato, nung hindi pa siya na-aresto, he's so brave, saying na, sasama na ako, pupunta na ako sa The Hague. Ngayon, hindi ganun yung nangyari. It's total opposite of what he is saying.
From Billionario.
Hello po. My question po is for Professor Cleve. So, Prof, yung base po sa sinabi niyo kanina, both supporters of Lenny and Sara ay in-eye or second choice and third choice nila si Senator Tulfo. Very interesting lang po yung trend ng numbers na yun, no? Bakit po kaya sa tingin niyo si Senator Tulfo yung napupusuan nila, and why not Sen. Ree or Sen. Kiko?
Yes, I think si Senator Tulfo, kung babalikan natin yung mga napag-usapan kasi natin, no, meron talaga tayong mga kababayan na gusto yung may image ng malakas, no, ikaw ay decisive, no, and I think may public perception that Senator Raffy Tulfo represents that kind of leadership, no. Kaya it makes sense na if nadidisillusion sila kay Vice President Sara, maaari nila i-consider ang isang kagaya ni Senator Raffy Tulfo. Although the Senator said na di naman din siya interested tumakbo in 2028. And it appears naman na for the Vice President supporters, kay supporters ni Lenny Robredo, na katanggap-tanggap din yung performance ni Senator Raffy Tulfo. So mukhang nakakahanap siya ng middle ground ba?
So, ngayon po ba, Prof, ano po ba yung dapat maging action ni Senator Tulfo? Mas maging lenient po ba siya into minority or majority?
Yan. Kay Senator Tulfo yan, pero I think ano talaga, kailangan niyang bantayan, no, yung kanyang magiging performance bilang isang senator judge, 'di ba? Kakitaan siya na siya ay impartial, talagang magbabatay sa ebidensya. At tingin ko doon, maaaring makagain pa siya ng mas maraming suporta. Tapos yung majority and minority, I think, nakikita din natin in the past days, di ba, na medyo napagtatawanan ng publiko yung mga pangyayari sa Senado, lalo na on the part of the mga nasa majority nating senator. So baka mainam na sa ngayon ay hindi siya kasali dyan, di ba? Dahil hindi din maganda siguro, magkakaroon siguro ng negative na effect, di ba? Baka kung maging kasali siya sa mga problema ng majority sa kasalukuyan.
Okay po, thank you po, Prof. Next po, sorry po, Attorney Direct. Regarding po pala sa mga fake news and all, hayag na hayag pa rin po kasi yung ibang vloggers ngayon na as in pinagmumura yung current personalities, officials. May ginagawa po bang hakbang yung NBI para mapanagot sila, lalo na ngayon na very crucial yung mga fake information?
Well, I mentioned earlier, we were able to take down thousands of fake accounts already. Those identified accounts na talagang sa kanila, sila yung may-ari, we are pursuing them. May mga subpoena kaming inisyo. Actually, every week may inisyo kaming subpoena, which is part of the due process. Kailangan namin silang pasagutin, imbestigahan, and eventually, yung case, pag nabuo namin, there will be an affidavit of investigation which will be used to file cases before the DOJ or the prosecutor's office kung saan namin ipapasok. Just yesterday, we filed a case to one personality na based on the case build-up ng CICC, kami naman, we're issuing subpoena. So by next week, dapat mag-appear kasi may period yung sa subpoena. So we've been doing that every day. Actually, kayo rin, if you're been a victim ng, we put up a hotline, we put up an email address where you can send your complaint. But we will invite you personally sa opisina rin namin to sign the complaint affidavit for purposes of pursuing and prosecuting the personalities involved.
Pero sa ngayon po, sorry po.
Gusto ko lang magdagdag kasi you mentioned about people cursing online. Lahat kami, we actually received our fair share of trolling and bashing. I think, tama nga, apart from legislation, apart from implementing the policies, I think this is something that is a manifestation of a sickness that has to be remedied. As public officers, and especially lawmakers, and for public officials, no, I think we need to, apart from exercising our duty as public officers, we also have to maintain ourselves in such a way that would bring good examples to the people. We need also to be conscious that as public officers, we need to contribute to the value formation of this country. Ibig sabihin, dapat ang pamarisan tayo at hindi dapat tayo nananapak, hindi dapat tayo nagmumura, hindi dapat natin inonormalize ito na sa tingin ng tao, okay lang na magmura.
Yeah. I'd like to add, no, kasi that's a very good observation. That's what I'm telling earlier, eh. There is a breakdown of law and order. Nag-iba na yung standard, eh. Para ngayon, dahil nakikita yung mga namumuno, matataas na pwesto, pwedeng magmura, pwedeng manakot. Just yesterday, we're tracking a person, may dalang baril, sasabihin, eto, isang bala sa ulo ni PBBM. Kanino ba nanggaling yung banta-banta sa ulo ni PBBM, di ba? Personalities na kilala. Tama yung sa akin, ako as a director, I'm implementing the law. Pagka merong iimbestigahan, kakasuhan, sa akin nagagalit. So, ganun na ba yung standard na gusto natin? Is this the kind of standard na gusto natin? In relation to sa survey sa sabi ni Prof, siguro unti-unti, nagkakaroon ulit ng realization yung tao na hindi ito normal. Nag-iba yung standard natin eh. Yung dating mali, dating nagsisimba tayo, every Sunday gusto natin magsimba to venerate our God para magsabihin natin, makipag-usap tayo sa Panginoon. Hindi ngayon, pwede nang murahin yung Diyos. And it's sending a wrong message na yung nangyari lang nitong nakarang linggo, anong salita ng mga ibang senador? Senador kami, hindi dapat kami ganito. For me, that is wrong. Kasi feudal masyado eh. Because you're a senator, you can do things na hindi pwedeng gawin ng ordinary citizen. And I saw one senator, when he was not yet a senator, and one senator is being arrested, nag-live video pa siya sa labas eh. Nandito kami sa labas ng Senado dahil senador hindi maaresto, pero kaming mga ordinaryong tao, pag kasama na kayo ng pulis, sama na lang kami. Hindi ba? Tapos, yung iba, professional, may pwesto, abogado, nag-iba yung standard. I think, siguro, I find my purpose here in NBI, and that is, let's go back to what is proper. Let's go back to what's law and order. I have my fair share also of my mistakes. May nilabas sila na meron akong kinakurs, di ba? Pero that is a private conversation. Iba yun eh. Pero iba yung nag-live ka pa talaga, na sasabihin mo, lahat, papatayin ko kayo lahat. If you see your leaders like that, walang pinag-iba to. Sa bahay natin, mga bata, tayo magulang, nakikita ang ganun ginagawa natin, kukopyahin eh. Kasi they will feel na tama yun eh. So, but going back to your question, we are trying to do our share on the most proper and legal way. We're trying to close fake accounts. Doon na nabuhay eh. Alam niyo yung study namin sa NBI ngayon, 30% doon sa social media, umiikot ngayon. Either bots or fake accounts na nagpo-promote ng maling impormasyon sa atin. And if people see it, na gano'n, napanood nila, ako nga minsan eh, pag may nakita ko, totoo ba to? What if our young children or yung medyo kulang sa enough faculties to analyze kung tama yung sinasabi, will just believe it. Nakakagulat, nakakatakot yung nangyayari. And we have to check it. And I'm happy to hear it from Kong Sia kasi kanina, si Sir Ariel, yun yung pinag-uusapan namin privately eh. We have to go back to what is right. Sabi ni Sir Ariel, nung mga bata tayo, hindi naman kami magkaedad ni Sir Ariel, ano? Talaga ko mas matanda sa akin ng konti ito. Sabi niya, hindi ganyan eh. Ang tapang, maraming matapang. I went to the Senate, nung may 11, yung mga nagbablog doon, mumurahin ka, babatuhin ka. But when you face them, try to stand up, hindi naman haharap sa'yo. Maraming matapang sa social media. Marami ring abogado ngayon sa social media. Marami na rin pong nagsasurvey sa social media. So, panawagan ko, especially to the parents, bantayan natin yung mga anak natin kung anong pinapanood dyan sa social media. Because, sabi ko nga, conservatively, 30% basura po yung nandiyan dyan. Hindi po totoo. So, salamat you raised that question and we had the opportunity na ilabas yung nararamdaman namin.
Thank you po.
ABS-CBN, may tanong siya.
May follow-up lang po ako. Last na po, Rep. Kung regarding po dun sa sinabi niyo kanina na magkakaroon ng regular press briefing regarding the impeachment, sa tingin niyo po ba sasapat po yun na para i-combat yung fake news and other ways niyo po or alternative para ma-combat po itong mga ito?
To be honest with you, I think that's one way of combating, but it will not definitely equate the degree and the volume of fake news that we are seeing on social media. That's why pinapanawagan ko po ito, and this is a plea to the whole country. Ito pong impeachment na to, lahat po tayo stakeholders dito. Karapatan po nating malaman ang katotohanan at obligasyon po nating bilang Pilipino na naniniwala na ating sandigan ay ang konstitusyon na magbahagi at makilahok at tingnan kung ano yung mga hindi tama at maling impormasyon at gawin po nating obligasyon ito na tayo po mismo from our own end na i-correct po ito at sabihin mali. Kasi ang tumatayo po dito ang konstitusyon, ang pagiging Pilipino natin, at yung accountability mechanism ng konstitusyon na dapat hindi yan masira, dapat hindi marupok, dapat ang pinaninindigan niya yung tiwala ng taong bayan. So I'm appealing to all civil society organizations, all sectors of our society, that the impeachment trial, let's help and support each other to preserve and protect the sanctity of the impeachment trial, of the impeachment court. And by doing and by providing our services to protect, from our very little means, no, our ways, to protect the sanctity, is first to combat malinformation, disinformation, and misinformation. Kasi pag nanalo po ang tama, pag nanalo po ang mali, ang una-una pong biktima ay ang katotohanan.
Okay, Alison ko po, ABS-CBN. NBI Director Matibag, one question lang, no? In the possibility that ICC would issue additional arrest warrants for other co-perpetrators, sir, is the NBI undertaking preparations? Are we gonna follow the same process po as Senator Bato de la Rosa?
Well, we have established protocol in serving the warrant, no? It doesn't matter who he is or who he are. Kung ano man yung krimen niya, basta't may warrant, meron talaga kaming protocol na. So kung may lumabas na additional warrant of arrest, we are always ready to enforce and to serve the warrant. So, that's the reason why also we don't want to discuss yung kung paano lumabas, paano pumunta, because we don't want to na ma-preempt tayo ng mga personalities na maaaring may issue pa ng warrant. Because we understand, we have information that there are severals na ma-issue pa ng warrant ng ICC. Marami na naglabas eh. Nakikita natin. No? I don't think that will be necessary. No? Kasi kita naman eh. Pero meron na ako nakita mga nagpo-post and even nga sa Mindanao, nagulat ako ha. Mga bata, pinopost yung poster ni Senator Bato as wanted.
Carlo ng DCBB.
Director, pwede pong paki-elaborate yung usapin po ng armed and dangerous si Senador De La Rosa. At naging kapansin-pansin din nung madaling araw ng yung sa Senado na mangyari yung putukan. Bakit pinagbawalan ng NBI na magsagawa ng checkpoint outside the Senate?
Well, yung armed and dangerous, ang sinasabi namin dito, lahat naman nga po ng target for the service of warrant, ang aming point of view, we will always be ready, baka armado at lumaban yung ating subject, no? So, siguro yung sinasabi rito kasi, when there are footages nung umalis si Senator Bato, may mga dalang duffel bag eh. So, there is a suspicion na baka mga baril yun, no? Pero, as a matter of protocol po ng NBI, sa lahat naman, we are always ready to serve warrant and our team is always prepared kung sakali po na merong insidente na lalaban po sila. As regards dun sa checkpoint, actually, nung May 13, wala naman po kaming established checkpoints ang NBI. We were just invited requested by GSIS to have them to secure the premises. So, doon lang naman po yung sa amin doon. Tapos, yung checkpoint, I think, is being undertaken by the PNP, no? Ano po? So, yung pag-alis noon, wala naman po kaming, una-una, wala kaming presence ng checkpoint, so wala naman po kaming alisin. Our presence was confined to the GSIS building po, sa GSIS compound.
Director, meron na bang rekomendasyon para alisin yung visa ng mga parel, license, LTAC ni Senator De La Rosa?
I think that should be undertaken by the Department of Justice and the PNP. Ano po? So, kasi ang problema naman natin dyan, kahit alisan natin ng lisensya yan, if they're armed, they will still be armed. Hindi naman natin makukuha yung mga baril po nila, no? But that should be a legal move also.
Director, sabi niyo, armed and dangerous, posibleng manlaban. So may chance ang siya ay mabalita bilang nanlaban.
Well, those are all possibilities. But again, I appeal to Senator Bato to peacefully and voluntarily surrender. Kasi it's a process eh. I think kanina binabanggit ni Professor, meron din yata silang survey tungkol dun sa ICC. Baka it's better that we hear it also, Professor. You can share it to us eh.
Yes, since last year and ito pong March, yung survey po natin lumalabas na 6 in 10 Filipinos, so majority po yan, ay sila po ay pabor, sumasang-ayon sila na dapat po ay si Senator Bato de la Rosa bilang isang alleged co-perpetrator ay humarap din po sa ICC sa The Hague personal doon sa trial kasama po ng dating Pangulo. Ganon din po yung pagtingin ng ating mga kababayan kapag tinatanong po natin sa survey na yan po ba ay para din sa iba pang mga alleged co-perpetrators? At ang sagot ay yes po. No? So whether po si President Duterte, si Senator Bato de la Rosa at ang mga iba pang mga alleged co-perpetrators na may isyuhan ng arrest warrant, pabor po yung ating mga kababayan na sagutin nila yung kaso doon mismo sa dahig.
Sige po, Clive, napag-usapan kanina yung lamentations kung saan napunta ang social media, no? As a, sociologist, ikaw nag-aaral sa opinion ng tao, sa political science. Tanong ko lang closer to home, kasi yung mga lumaki ng 1980s, pag nakakita ng balikat ng babae, ay isa ng malaking pribileyo. Siguro girlfriend mo na yun, o asawa mo na yan. Pag nakakita ng legs. Pero ngayon, yung isang 12 anyos na lalaki, baka hindi sa 10 milyong balikat ng babae at iba pa. Ang kanilang nakita na social media, sabi nga ng iba, nakakabobo. Kukunti na tinatakpan para sa imahinasyon. Sa palagay niyo ba mababalik pa yung dating pag-ugali ng isang karaniwang Pinoy after this so-called destruction of our morals by the avalanche of anything about social media?
Yes, tingin ko po nagbabago po talaga yung standards natin ng ano yung acceptable bilang isang mabuti at mabuting Pilipino, mabuting mamamayan, no? At kasama po diyan na kasi maaaring tinitingnan po natin mula sa mga older generations natin, no? Gen X and baby boomers and silent gen na parang na-relax yung rules sa pananamit ng mga tao, di ba? Pero from the perspective of the younger generations, millennials, mga Gen Zs, no? Ang pananaw naman po ay na-relax dahil nagkaroon ng mas improved na understanding na hindi imbitasyon sa katawan ng isang tao yung kanyang pananamit, 'di ba? So nagbabago yung mga paniniwala, but I think as a political scientist, ang mas gusto ko pong i-point out, kagaya ng nasabi na din ni Kong Zia and ni director po dito, na malaki po yung bahagi ng ating mga public officials, yung ating mga national leaders sa pag-shape ng ano yung isang pagiging mabuting Pilipino. Di ba po? Kung ano po yung kinakakitaan doon sa mga namumuno sa atin, ganun din syempre magre-reflect doon sa ating mga kababayan, ano na ba yung mga panibagong standards, di ba? Kasi halimbawa po, kung yung ating mga kampanya, kapag panahon ng kampanya, the way that we entertain voters ay magpapaakyat tayo ng mga dancers, na wearing those sexy clothes as well, gagawin po natin silang entertainment at katatawanan, di nagiging acceptable talaga. Kasi po yung ating mga pinaka-powerful, yun naman pala din yung treatment sa ating mga kababayan. So may role po talaga yung national leaders din natin. And so syempre, kung kagaya po niyan kay Senator Bato, na kapag ikaw po ay tumatakas sa batas, puganti ka, ang iyong kapwa Senator Robin Padilla, ikaw pa ang nagtakas, di ba po? Si Senate President naman, ikaw ang nagpasok sa Senado. Ano pong halimbawa noon sa ating mga kababayan, di ba? Na pwede palang isang tabi yung batas para po sa iyong kaibigan o kaalyado sa politika. Hindi maganda.
Last question.
Congressman, yung meron po pangalan ng mga private prosecutors, sabi nyo, nag-wage sila ng fees.
Yes, pro bono po. Hindi po sila maniningil. Voluntary po silang na lumapit sa amin. Tayo po naman ay pasalamat dahil may mga private practice ng mga lawyers na willing naman mag-assist sa ating prosecution team. Sa ngayon, ang alam ko po si Attorney Lorna Kapunan, and then yung law firm, may law firm po. Pasensya na po kasi hindi ko po specifically ma-identify sila dahil karamihan po din doon, first time ko lang po na-meet. So, hindi ko talaga sila maalam yung mga kanilang mga pangalan.
Mga ilan?
Mga hindi po bababayan sa 5. Opo. Hindi po siya bababa sa 5.
Bakit daw sila hindi maniningil, sir?
Well, unang-una, dahil naniniwala sila na ang pinanggagalingan nito ay ang konstitusyon. Sabi ko nga, lahat tayo stakeholders, mas lalo na ang legal community. Kasi ito magiging test ito sa legal, mga magpapasok itong usapin na ito ng impeachment sa legal dictionary And I think ang mga bilang officers of the court, alam naman ni director yan, pag lawyer ka, talagang kailangan mo ring protektahan ang Constitution at make sure na talagang na-implement ng maayos ang ating mga batas. Well, yun po, independe po kung ano yung arrangement nila with the public prosecutors. No? Pero on the previous corona impeachment, nagpa-participate naman po yung mga private prosecutors. But definitely, the public prosecutors will be the one to present the evidences and to present also the witnesses. So, I think it's more on assistance and the arrangement on how yung kanilang magiging participation, actual participation during the impeachment trial ay mapag-uusapan po yan, and I'm sure mag-update po kami sa inyo soon. Sa ngayon, pinag-uusapan po ang kung paano yung magiging toka ng bawat prosecutors. I think sa public prosecutors, tapos naman po, na-assign na sa kanila, pero ano yung magiging assistance na may bibigay ng mga private prosecutors? Well, sa amin naman, sinusunod namin kung ano man ang alituntunin na i-adapt ng korte, nirerespeto namin ito, at sa amin naman ay handa naman kami kung maski anong araw, maski anong oras, o gaano kadalas yung magiging impeachment trial, na yun naman ay desisyon ng ating Senado na tatayong impeachment court. Thank you.
Mag-subscribe at i-click ang notification bell para sa mga susunod na video updates. Maraming salamat po.